Just in the invocation, she had mentioned, excuse me, that all of us came here in our right minds. And I had to smile because being a left-hander, we are in fact the only types of persons who are in our right minds. So all of us who are lefties, we are in our right minds. Prime Minister, the Honorable Bruce Golding, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, the Honorable Carl Samuda, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Mr. Reginald Boudin, Mrs. Princess Osborne, Director of Standards and Regulations, Ministry of Health, President of the Jamaica Manufacturers Association, Mr. Omar Azan, President of the Labs Association of Jamaica, Dr. Donovan Magruder, General Manager of the Jamaica Exporters Association, Ms. Jean Smith, Manager of the Caribbean Laboratory Accreditation Scheme, Ms. Giselle Guevara, Project Coordinator of the German Metrology Institute, Dr. Ulf Hillner, fellow directors of JANAAC, other specially invited dignitaries and guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, boys and girls, it is my privilege as Chairman of the Council to welcome you all to the launch of the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation, which we call JANAAC. Today, June 9th, 2009, is actually International Accreditation Day, the second anniversary of it. A global initiative to raise awareness of the need for the accreditation-related activities and to highlight the value of accreditation to regulators, businesses, and the general public. So what is accreditation, and why is it so important to Jamaica? Accreditation provides regulators, businesses, and us as consumers an independent and authoritative attestation of the competence, impartiality, and integrity of conformity assessment bodies. Accreditation that is internationally accepted and meets international standards provides confidence in the accuracy and reliability of testing, inspection, and certification. Standards and accreditation therefore play an increasingly important role in improving the operations of the marketplace and promoting growth in trade. Many factors have contributed to this, such as mass production, a growing demand for interchangeable parts, globalization, manufacturers' concerns of litigation, demand for cheaper and cheaper goods, public demand for product safety, and concerns about technical compatibility between products. In such a complex and highly competitive market, therefore, a level of confidence is required when procuring products and services. Such reassurance is underpinned by accreditation. Specifiers like government regulators have come to appreciate the importance of credible accreditation programs that are based on internationally recognized standards. When they do so, they need a fair and meaningful basis for identifying qualified and competent providers. Accreditation provides this declaration of competence. So let us look at a few examples now of the benefits of accreditation to Jamaica. Well, if our medical labs move towards becoming ISO 15189, which is one of the standards for medical labs, being accredited to that standard, it'll provide us with a high level of confidence that their test results are accurate. This will lead to reduced diagnostic errors and open the door, actually, for increased medical tourism, which is a very big growing trade. More personally, it'll give us all an assurance that our test results for our various ailments, some of us would know more about that than others, as we have slightly receding hairlines, we'd want to know that our test results are accurate. I'm sure most of you are aware of the crisis now facing the Quebec medical testing labs on this very issue. Imagine for a moment being one of those women living in Quebec who have recently been tested for cancer, and it turns out that they're not sure if those test results are accurate. Big problem. Drug testing labs, another area that needs, section that needs to be accredited, will also aid in eliminating drugs in sports and actually allow us in Jamaica to remove any doubt whatsoever about the true brilliance of our athletes. Local conformity assessment bodies, such as the Bureau of Standards and our VET division, will also benefit from the strengthened assurances of their competency and accuracy. Perhaps the recent issues with trade to Trinidad and Tobago and Aki exports to the United States a couple of years ago would be less likely to have happened if their competent authorities could not question the accuracy of our test results and our certifications. Finally, more personally again, working with Grace Kennedy as a food manufacturer, we must have certified food safety systems in place, such as HACCP and ISO 22000, to assure ourselves as the manufacturers, our brand owners, our local and overseas partners, our government, and most importantly, our consumers, that the food we produce and that we export is safe, completely safe for human consumption. Without an internationally accredited certification process, we would not be able to provide such assurances. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that I have been able to give you a little bit of an insight into the importance of accreditation and to the benefits of having an internationally recognized accreditation body right here in Jamaica. I'd also like to take this time to express my sincere thanks as chairman of the council to all those board members, the support staff, the members of JANAAC who have worked incredibly hard over the last 2.5, 3 years to take us from nothing to this moment. It was mentioned to me a little earlier about somebody here from JANAAC commented that she's as nervous today as she was when her child was being christened. And I said that's a fantastic analogy because, in fact, we are christening JANAAC this morning. So once again, on behalf of the directors and the team members of JANAAC, welcome to Accreditation Day and to the launch of JANAAC. Thank you very much.
The Prime Minister, the Honorable Bruce Golding, the Honorable Carl Samuda, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, members of the Diplomatic Corps, our Permanent Secretary, Mr. Reginald Bulgan, Mrs. Princess Osborne, who is the Director of Standards and Regulations, Mr. Omar Ozan, President of the Jamaica Manufacturers Association, Dr. Donovan Magroda, President of the Laboratories Association of Jamaica, Mrs. Jean Smith, General Manager of the Jamaica Exporters Association, Dr. Vaiju Lopez, the Executive Director of the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality, who came all the way from Barbados to be with us, Dr. Jem Fletcher from CARICOM, ladies, specially invited guests, other specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure today. Also, the rules of conformity assessment had changed with them, and they decided that they need to rethink how they did business. They sought help from the international community, and the government of Sweden agreed to give some assistance to them, and the project for the improvement of the national quality infrastructure was born. The government of Sweden gave, over the last couple of years, considerable help to the government of Jamaica through its accreditation agency, the Swedish Board for Accreditation and Conformity Assessment, SWEDAC, to start JANAAC, and we thank them. This project, called the SWEDAC project, moved to the Ministry of Commerce and Technology at the time in 2002, and it is the ministry who saw it to the end. So we also thank our ministry for the help they gave us to birth JANAAC. Now we're going to look at JANAAC as it is today and what it does. And we have a DVD to show you. So we'll now show you about a little DVD about JANAAC.
Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation.
Chairman Simon Roberts, Mrs. Darmville, Dr. Magauda, President of the Laboratories Association of Jamaica, President of the Jamaica Manufacturers Association, Omar Azan, Chairman of the Bureau of Standards, Dr. Atnell Henry, CEO of the Bureau of Standards, Mr. Osborne, Your Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, ladies and gentlemen. I would first like to use my ministerial privilege and limited authority, but significant authority, to extend, having fulfilled all the necessary requirements to be deemed the most business-friendly and the one who respects most the question of science and technology, I would like to officially accredit the Prime Minister of Jamaica as the best we have had. That is evidenced by the fact that only yesterday evening he gave the speech at the Jamaica Exporters Association's launch of Export Month. I have no doubt, seeing Omar Azan, the president of the JMA, and knowing of his tremendous respect for the Prime Minister, that the process will continue as far as industry and commerce, and I expect that the Prime Minister will be there as well when he launches Expo for the JMA. Ladies and gentlemen, this organization is an organization that, as you have heard, started only a short time ago. It is one of the most significant organizations, but it is one of the most well-kept secrets in the island, second only to Science and Research Council, Scientific Research Council, because the tremendous amount of work that has been done behind the scenes to get us to this point. And it has a little bit of history because the Bureau of Standards was the agency that dealt some time ago with accreditation, but it was deemed necessary to split the organizations and to have a more arm's-length relationship because the Bureau of Standards does certification of labs, and therefore it would be improper to have the certification arm also accrediting the lab. This is a very critical element in the process of making us competitive. And as we have heard from Mrs. Darmville, this is all about trade. It's about making our products internationally accepted. And it is only through the process by which we can say to the world, our products have received the accreditation, which is internationally accepted and respected, that we'll be able to demand our rightful place in the international trading community. Technology is, without question, the most significant element of business development today. What can be done with the new techniques and the applied technology appropriate to this process today could not have been foreseen a few years ago. And so whilst we will attempt to ensure that these labs are accredited, it is incumbent on the labs themselves in the process of becoming ready for accreditation to ensure that they introduce into their process a level of appropriate technology that will enhance the whole process by which they are accredited. The work of the organization has just started. They are starting on a phase basis, and they expect that over time they will develop. It is a long process, and I wouldn't wish anyone to leave here believing that we have gotten anywhere near the end of that process. We have really just started, but it is a start that is necessary. It is an essential service that is